Right. So, like I was saying, when I look back, I really thank God for giving me the privilege to be by my mother's side while she was struggling. It is because of those experiences that today helping you seems easy. And it gives me a lot of knowledge that I carry to be able to help you in whatever struggles you're going through. I know what to do when you're vomiting or when we go to the hospital, understanding what the doctors say, things like that. Which wouldn't have been the case. I would have been someone who stood behind and just watched you being helped by someone else. If I had done that when my mother was struggling and I let my sister or someone else take care of her. So I'm grateful. So perspective plays a huge role in wanting to have an attitude of gratitude. You can find anything to be grateful for in every situation, because a lot of people told me, after seeing my the testimony I shared during Mummy's funeral, and they said we don't know how you're able to say whatever you said, but it is because I was grateful to God even in that circumstance that my heart was filled with gratitude and I had to say whatever I had to say. And it is so unfortunate that this attitude isn't carried even in church. I know a lot of people who have quit church and they've moved to another church. And it is always okay to move to another church where you think you're growing and where you think you're being blessed. But don't leave church in the attitude of, oh, this church now is not doing what it's supposed to do. So there's so much of politics. There's so much of complaints that you have constantly about the church. And hence, are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hence you leave the church only to go there, stay in that new church for a while and then end up complaining about that church as well. This church is not nice. This is the problem. That is the problem. Everywhere we go, we're going to have problems. But if you have the attitude of complaining, no matter where you go, you're going to keep complaining. You're never going to be grateful for the time you spent in that church, which has brought you to where you are today.
Yeah. I think another thing that is really, especially in relationships and friendships and all of that, is correlated is one is gratitude and one is being able to apologize easily. Like, for example, I was just thinking, the other day something silly happened with me. And I had like a small panic attack where I sat and cried for 20 minutes and I threw a fit and I threw the keys and I threw this and threw that, and you were just calm and quiet and composed. And after I kind of put myself together, I was like, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry for whatever happened, but thank you for staying calm. So I always feel like sometimes apologizing and having a heart that is grateful go together. Right. And both of us have this attitude, and this was something I learned from you. Is you? Nowadays it's a little less.
What?
Apologizing.
But nowadays I'm not making any mistakes. I'm literally walking on eggshells. I don't want to put you in a situation where you freak out.
I've not been very difficult.
See how she's controlling me, holding my hand.
Yeah, so I think I learned it from you to be able to, because you were the one who, I don't remember the exact incident, but you always would apologize and then be like, but thank you for doing this, or thank you for doing that. So I think when you have an attitude of gratitude and you think you've done something where you felt ungrateful for a moment, it's easy to apologize.
Right. So because as much as you're saying that, if you look at pros and cons of this, not having gratitude can ruin so many things for you. It's going to continue an argument and a fight. It's going to continue you carrying bitterness inside you. You're going to stay in a framework of mind where your body will follow. and that may cause stress, anxiety, depression, number of things. But when you have this attitude of gratitude, you can reconcile, you can mend broken relationships, you can bless somebody. If you think about the story of Moses and the Israel. Okay, try holding it in. You want something lime or something? Water, Coke, anything?
No, continue.
Okay. So there's the story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt. And I told you this before, that every step of their way, all they did was complain. They got out of Egypt, freedom finally, after hundreds of years, and then behind they saw Pharaoh with his army coming, and they said, "Oh, Moses, did you bring us out here for us to die at the hands of Pharaoh? If we were in Egypt, we would have been alive at least." Not realizing that God did some miraculous things to bring them out to where they were. And they did not realize that the future is still in God's hand and God can protect them. So God had to do a miracle, open the Red Sea, make them pass. Make them pass.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's
I'm
okay.
pregnant. I haven't slept in
It's
properly.
fine. It's fine. Right. So they did that. Then they went complaining, saying that we don't have food. Did you bring us here to die? And so God sent manna from top. Where does that happen? Manna falling from heaven. It's like food falling from heaven. And then they complained, oh, we don't have non-veg. Should we eat only manna and die? So they went on and on complaining. And if you think about it, God kept his promise. He said Israel will go into the promised land. But the generation at that moment who walked out of Egypt were not the same people who walked into the promised land. It was the next generation that went in. And in the process they were complaining and they were so bitter that they eventually went and built a calf that they wanted to worship, went back to their old wicked ways. If only they had just held on. Because think about it, the journey from Egypt to the promised land was, I think, 12 days, 11 or 12 days. But it took them 40 years to reach that. And it's that learning that I want to implement in our lives. That if you're not grateful for what God is doing, and if you're not learning, because He knows what He's doing, there's a purpose for everything. And if we don't appreciate that purpose for which we are placed here today, and if you're going to keep complaining about everything, because I have a problem of complaining, you know that. Oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, we had a timeline, we had a time frame, it's not falling in that time frame. So I have a problem of complaining, and I need to keep reminding myself.
Nagging.
Complaining is a better word. I nag you because you don't do some things. You're too lethargic about some things. You just sit on it for days. I can't. I need to be productive every day types. So that's where I get my learning. What else do you think is something that we lack having gratitude in?
I mean,
Of course, if you watch the video that I've posted on my channel, you'll get an understanding of where I'm coming from with these thoughts, because I've shared a few. So the link is in the description if you would like.
I'm not putting any link in the description.
Please, everybody, link is in the description.
I think.
Hey, wait, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Link is in the
I'm
description.
going to edit the video, so.
So please go watch the video. I think it will help you all, because that's the whole reason why I make those videos, to help people.
I think another place where. No, I think I'll not mention it.
Say it, we can edit it out if you don't want it.
I think another place where. I think a lot of people find it difficult to have gratitude, but it wasn't the case for me until recently, that is you know how girls have this habit of hating on the women in your partner's life, maybe past or whatever it is.
Definitely edit.
No edit. Listen, there have been so many times where I've told you that, no, I'm not angry because I'm grateful that at that point of time they were there for you. I'm grateful that at that point of time when you needed someone, they were there for you. And I don't see that attitude in a lot of women, because it comes naturally for us to hate people in your partner's past experiences. I haven't been that person. I've always been grateful for whoever was there and whatever role they played, because at that minute, at that point in your life, you needed them, and maybe that's why God put them there. But and whatever role they had to play for that time, they played, and that's why I don't have that that negative, or that anger or that jealousy towards them, because I'm grateful for them also. Even if they're not there in your life right now, I'm still grateful for those people, because they played a certain role that at that moment
helped me to be where I am today.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see that maturity in you, not just in words but in action as well. If at all you come across certain people, the way you behave, the way you react, the way you speak to them, that's the maturity I like in you. Because usually what happens, there's a tantrum, there's a tiff, there's a walking away,
Pettiness.
there's an attitude. Yeah, there's a lot of pettiness that's thrown, and it becomes very awkward. But then it makes me stand up high with my head up, not bowed down, because of the maturity you carry, especially around these people who aren't a part of my life anymore, and that is a big blessing for me.
Yeah, I choose not to be petty.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because I'm like, okay, fine, whatever it is, you were there when he needed you, and
Yeah, it's all in the past anyways. Yeah. So.
I think that one thing, that also comes down to nagging. Sometimes as women, we just have that inbuilt jealousy. We wouldn't even know that person personally, no?
Yeah.
We wouldn't know them. We've never interacted or whatever it is, but it just comes to us so naturally to hate on, the ex-girlfriends.
I'm sure even these people, at least from my past, don't like you, even though they don't know you. Naturally, it comes to them that they need to hate you or look at you a certain way. They have a lot to say about you, because one, they might be blaming you for whatever happened in their life, which is not true. But it just is natural, like you were saying. It's very
it
natural.
just comes very naturally to women.
Yeah.
Not men. I've not seen a lot of men usually don't care about these things. No? I don't know.
Like what?
Like hating on the past boyfriends or whatever it is.
No. Given a chance, I'll fist whoever I have to fist in the face.
No, but just I'm saying men usually don't care about these things.
Yeah, we don't.
Men are also cordial most of the times. Like if you come face to face, you just
It is
have
those
it in-
immature ones who hear something that happened when they were not even present in that person's life, who act a certain way because they think, oh, you did this too.
Yeah, so if you think about it, you can actually be grateful in every situation,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like
I've been complaining that we've not gone on our abroad trip. Okay.
had to come.
And we thought we'll travel while she's
In
maybe
November.
5 or 6 months pregnant.
Before pregnancy, we thought we were traveling in November. I got pregnant, and then we thought, okay, people do travel while pregnant.
Yeah, and then we got one deadly doctor who will not take sides. Doctor, my aunt said this, what should I do? I'm not going to come between what your aunt said. If you think that's right,
At your risk.
At your risk, she'll say. So even the
But
traveling.
we didn't expect the pregnancy to be difficult.
Yeah, so I've not gone on a honeymoon, which I really wanted to. That was one thing I was looking forward to, because I believe in completing those things in life as those stages come in your life. And it didn't happen, but then I have a big gift to be thankful for. And I prayed, and I asked God that if it is okay for us to travel, because you know how much this means to me. Let the doctor say that it is okay, she can travel. But if she's giving me the slightest of doubts, then we're not traveling. And I prepared myself. We went. The doctor said, she gave us two examples. One, someone who traveled and things went wrong. The other one who traveled and things were safe. And eventually she left the ball in our court, saying that, it's under your risk. So I knew that it wasn't wise for us to travel. So I just pulled back.
I think another situation where I think a lot of times we are not grateful, we don't have gratitude, is when you're sick. And I completely understand this, especially because I had chronic illness. And as much as you want to be grateful at that moment, because maybe you had a good few hours or a good day, pain just does that to you.
Yeah.
Being in constant pain or being in excruciating pain does that to you. Like, for example, we've had a number of nights during the pregnancy where I'm sitting and crying and crying and crying, and then I would just look at you and I tell you that I don't want to be ungrateful, because I'm really grateful that I'm able to be pregnant, but I am struggling.
Yeah.
I am really like in pain. I'm not able to eat. I'm not able to sleep. And but then I always obviously snap out of it, and I'm like, no, but I'm grateful that I'm pregnant and I'm able to experience this naturally, and I'm going to have a child by the end of the day. So I think when you in sickness, I think that's the most difficult. Being grateful in sickness. It is very difficult, especially when you are going through a number of treatments, and when you're in constant pain, really plays with your mind. And this is something only when someone else who is going through it will understand. As much as you are my husband and you understand my pain, you will never completely 100% understand it, because I'm the one going through it. So pain does that to you. Pain plays with your mind. But if you can still, in that situation, in that moment...
Put your leg down. Sorry, put your leg down.
Why?
I'm not supposed to sit like this.
Okay. But even if in that situation where you are in pain, if you're able to be grateful, I think there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Right? If you're still able to be like for example, when I was diagnosed with endo, and I went through this 1.5 year of every single day I would be in pain and cry and all of that. And I remember going to Dr. Kanchan, and I said, I'm fed up. I said, I can't take this. I was 26 that time. I see everyone is traveling and going and eating whatever they want and going to different restaurants, and I was stuck in a room, unable to move on bed. And she looked at me and she said, Miriam, it could have always been worse. So be grateful for where you are right now, because someone else would actually prefer being in your situation, because they have very few days to live, or they're going through something worse. So she said, always be grateful for where you are. And it really snapped me out of my whiny stage, because I was constantly whining. And I think that is one thing I've learned, is to be able to thank God. I know it is difficult, whatever you're going through, but still to be able to thank God in that situation, saying that, okay, thank God I'm still able to go through it and I'm not giving up. I think that's...
Right, it's like I found myself with no shoes and I cried until I saw someone with no legs.
Yeah.
So, gratitude is towards God because He is the author and finisher of everything, and we trust and believe in Him. But we also need to practice that sort of gratitude with people around us, because that's what makes us human, that's what makes us who we are. And we are not complete without the helping hands that reached out to us when we were in need, no matter who they were.
Yeah.
And today we might find number of reasons to hate them, but at one point they were the biggest blessing that we found, and we should not forget it.
Even if you've drifted apart.
Even if you've drifted apart. Have gratitude, be cordial with them, give respect for what they have done in your life in the past, and move on. It can be a boyfriend, girlfriend once upon a time who've drifted away for whatever reasons. But for that moments of happiness and joy and standing by each other, whatever was given, be grateful to that with gratitude. If you understand this, then every other relationship you can handle smooth sailing.
And also, the bitterness and whatever you're carrying against them just lightens.
Yeah.
When you just understand the simple fact.
Yeah, because you will only realize later in life when you've reached a certain stage, when you look back and you see, wow, I'm so glad that didn't work out back then, because I thought that was the best. And a lot of people think that they have to end their lives or everything's doomed because at that moment something's not going according to their plans. But if you just hang on just a little, because I was in depression for 2 years when I had my first relationship broken. Depression for 2 years. I lost.
Hi, if you're watching, thank you. Attitude of gratitude.
So, depression for 2 years. Almost lost my job, lost my health. I lost 11 kgs in a month and a half, and I was just lost, completely lost, and I had to get myself back. Of course, I was very young and I did not know what I know today. But when I look back today, I'm grateful.
Like, for example, whenever we speak about her, I always tell you that if I ever see her, if I ever bump into her, I'm just going to go to her and be like, thank you for whatever you did. I found my husband because of that.
Right. So as much as I went through a lot of pain then, as much as I lost a lot of things because of whatever happened, I think I've gained what I should have got then multiplied by 100 now. So if you just hang on for a while, you will see how you move to where God wants you to be, and that life that He is kept aside for you is amazing. So youngsters especially, when you're at that age, you're very prone to make quick decisions. You're very
impulsive.
Prone to react a certain way. I get a lot of people who've been messaging me on Instagram asking about certain things that they're going through in life, and most of the times I see youngsters dealing with these things. The guy cheated on me, the guy left me, and I don't know how to live my life. I think everything is over, and I want to remind them that your life is way beyond what you think it is. Your worth is not what another person puts it on you, but what the Creator has placed on you as your purpose and your value. And so don't be that impulsive. If something bad happens, hang on. There's something amazing coming your way.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, when you go through life later on and something amazing happens, you will definitely be grateful for your past experience.
Yeah. And the worse it is, your past, the better your future seems. Because no matter what I've gone through in the past, I am so grateful that it happened. One is because I can help others who are going through it now. And two, it just makes my life right now seem so brilliant and so beautiful that I'm so thankful for it. And I value you better. If we had met a few years back,
we wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, we wouldn't have worked out, but it had to happen at a certain time when we've had our experiences, our downfalls, that now we appreciate each other and we're grateful. We have so much of gratitude.
Because it made us who we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for those bad experiences, because a lot of times we sit down and we talk and I'm like, thank God that happened, because that gave me so much patience now.
Yeah.
And now I understand situations differently.
Yeah.
So if you really think about it, there is definitely something to be grateful about in every single situation.
Yes. And if God is leading you to something, He will see you through it. Because when it came to Miriam, my thoughts were like, okay, she has endometriosis. The doctors have told that she's never going to have a chance to have children. So how am I going to marry someone? Because I love children. I wanted to have children of my own. I wanted to have a big team. But then God kept telling me, she's the one for you. You have to go ahead with this. This is my will for you. And even with all these opposing thoughts and whatever fear I had, I set it aside, and with faith, I said, yes, let's get married. And after that, unexpectedly, this little one, where we have, it still feels like...
I'm sorry, I said she. The baby was planned and unplanned.
Yeah. And so when I look back, I say, wow, God, you had already set the path for me. And I didn't know about it until I took those steps by faith.
Yeah, you were not the only one reluctant. I was too, because that was the whole point. Like, I never wanted to get married. I never wanted to dump this baggage on anyone else, because and for me it was even more difficult because I knew your background. You've already been with someone, your mummy was struggling for 9 years and going through that, and then I always felt guilty. I always thought that, okay, he's always been in that hospital running around and all of that, and now I go into his life. I'm taking this baggage of chronic illness, and like, do I have to do it?
Yeah.
Right? But then it just
So we're really grateful for the way things fell, and that's what we want to encourage whoever's listening. We encourage you to not give up. Don't give up. Just hang in there. Things may seem bad, but the sun will always rise, and things will fall in place, and you'll be surprised to see what your future holds.
And the minute you start carrying this attitude of having gratitude, things just keep getting better.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I always say this thing, like, imagine I give you a gift that you've always wanted. Okay, like, it's like the biggest thing. You've always wanted it, and I give you that gift, and you're like
your reactions when I used to show
I
you.
know. And you'll just be like, you'll take it and you're like, would I feel like giving you another gift? If you're not like, oh my God, thank you so much for this gift, I really wanted this, and if you don't have that gratitude, would I want to give you something else? Would I?
No.
Would I?
No.
Why do you have to like physically oppose you?
Yeah.
Right. So the minute you start feeling gratitude towards everything, life just unfolds differently.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the video on my channel?
I'm not putting it anywhere.
Hey, wait na. Let them get a full-fledged meal, of the topic of gratitude. It's going to help a lot of people. So, to get a full-fledged understanding on this topic, watch the video on my channel so that you can understand more. And see, I'm saying this so that people can release themselves with so much of baggage and chains that might be holding them down, and I'm sure that will help. So build an attitude of gratitude
In everything, actually.
Good.
It's easier to be grateful when things are going according to your plan, right? The real challenge is to have that gratitude even when things are not going your way, and that's where I think most of us fail.
So thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, and share it with people who
Come close.
share it with people who can be helped in life.
Switch off your camera personality and come close.
We hope that this video and this topic helped y'all. We'll come up with some topics. Why don't you all suggest a few topics for us to talk and discuss? We will see you again soon in our upcoming videos. Until then, bye. Okay.
Dada asked you to come close to me, Dada.
Wow. Okay. You can say bye.
Have an attitude of gratitude, Mama.
Thank you, baby, for letting me in your video.
You go stop now.
No, Mujat.